Muriel, Ruby, let's go. Let's go.
Come on, let's have a candid conversation. Let's talk about it. Just bring it up, we got hope and love.
Yeah.
It's all about you and your well-being. The candid conversation show. Let's go, let's talk about
Hey,
it.
let's walk it out. Let's talk it out.
It's all about you.
Let's walk it out. Let's talk.
Thank you for joining another Candid Conversation. My name is Muriel.
And my name is Ruby.
Just because you see a smile does not mean everything is perfect. We all have a story. On the show, we discuss topics that are unspoken and taboo in our community. We are so excited to have a conversation with Desmond Meade. We will be discussing Florida Rights Restoration, Coalition, and Amendment 4.
Desmond, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you all for having me.
We're
Busy
so
man?
happy. Yes, happy to finally get you in the seat
Yes.
Yes,
so
you
we
know,
can talk about it.
this season has been very busy.
Yes, very. You ready for the holidays?
I'm so ready.
Yeah, so are we.
I've been working on my vocal cords
Really?
and everything.
La 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 la.
Uh-oh.
Chestnuts
There you
roasting
go.
on an open
Love it.
fire.
That's right.
I'm ready.
That's right.
Bring them carols
Jack
on.
Frost nipping at your nose.
Oh,
Yuletide carols. Okay.
being sung by a choir and folks dressed up like Eskimos.
Love it.
All
All
right.
right. That sounded
We
good.
might need to put out a single.
I love it. Love it. Listen, we always ask the guests to tell us a little bit about their upbringing because we believe your childhood shapes who we become as adults. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you are so right. You know, I actually wrote about this in my new book, Let My
Okay.
People Vote.
Okay.
And I really talk about my experiences. So I was actually born in the island of St. Croix, U.S. Virgin
Oh,
Islands.
really?
right.
Island
I'm
guy.
an island. Yeah, I'm an
Okay.
island boy.
Oh.
And grew up. My family is from the Caribbean, like Montserrat, Curacao, and so many other, and even Haiti, right?
Oh my gosh. We're
Um,
family.
Yeah, we family.
We're family.
Stuff I say.
Hey, not bad.
Okay, but no, and so I grew up on the island of St. Croix, but then I moved to Miami at a very young age, and that's where I grew up. You know, most of the time, and then for a little bit I spent some time in Illinois.
Okay.
In my teenage years,
Okay.
going back and forth between Illinois and Miami.
You have family in Illinois?
Yes, yes. But my upbringing, I tell folks that I was in a very large family. You know, island men have a lot of kids.
Yes.
You know, and so I have like so many brothers and sisters, and it was a blended family.
Okay.
But my dad was a preacher.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a preacher's kid, so
That's
you
all
know I was
right.
bad.
PK.
Yeah,
Right?
right?
But it was to me, I experienced a lot of love,
Good.
definitely a lot of fun. Island people know how to have a good
They
time.
sure
so
do,
you know how to
yes, and
celebrate.
eat.
Right.
But two things though. One of the things that just really helped shape me was when I was like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3. A memory that stuck with me was of a funeral in St. Croix, and it was a huge funeral, and it always just stuck with me because so many people came to pay this respect to just one person. I don't even know who it is,
Okay.
but I was always fascinated with death. Right, and what are we doing with our lives and stuff like that. And then the other thing was actually, there's a lot of missionaries that go to the island,
Yes.
right? And some of them are white missionaries. And it was a particular family that that came to the islands and was doing missionary work, and our families became real close.
Okay.
And my mom always used to tell me this story because the granddaughter of one of the missionaries and I became real close. We were like the same age. And so you could imagine us at about 3, 4 years old, family's getting ready, her family's getting ready to leave the island.
Right.
And the mom is telling us about how here I am with this white girl
Right.
and we're hugging each other, screaming at the
Crying.
top of our lungs,
Yes.
and we didn't want to be
Separated.
separated. right? And we're screaming, and our parents come and pull us apart
Oh, no.
and take us on our separate ways, and then we'll break free and run
Run
back
back
to each
together.
other and hold each other, you know, and that, you know, that stuck with me because especially even in today's time when you talk about all of the racial tensions and racism
Yes.
and all that, and I know that a lot of the things that causes problems in our society today are not issues that was inherently in us.
No.
Right.
Like something had to create that,
Absolutely.
right? Racism is taught, right?
Yes.
And I'm thinking about how, you know, how can we get society back to to that state of being, right? Where we're just connecting with each other along the lines of humanity without seeing, you know, color.
Yes.
And so that my upbringing, those are two things that really helped shape my upbringing.
Yes.
Are you still friends with this little girl?
No, no.
bad. Find her.
Yeah, listen. I was a little kid. I remember maybe I was in elementary. I think our family took a trip to Georgia to visit them, and that was about it. We lost contact.
Oh, that would be nice for you all to
Yeah, that would be.
reconnect.
One of these days, she's gonna see me. Maybe even on this show.
And maybe
Right?
so.
She's like, it's me, you know, and then call you all and get in contact with me. But no, I never forget that.
Yeah.
I never forget that. And it has greatly influenced, you know, those two things have greatly influenced
you.
who I am today. And I'm
Today.
pretty sure we'll probably touch on a couple of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And middle school and high school, how was that for you?
It was good. You know, let me tell you, high school was probably the biggest challenge. And the reason why it was the biggest challenge, because of the internal battle that I was going through, right? So, and what I mean by that is that, you know, I'm pretty smart. I mean, my mom, from the time I was small, my mom always told me about how important education is.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I was always reading. I was part of the weekly book club,
Yes.
weekly reader book club, and I was a huge Encyclopedia Brown fan.
Okay.
And so that's a
still
book.
have those.
I know, right?
You have to,
still
and
have the
where
whole
you have to solve the clues, and it helps stimulate critical thinking,
Absolutely.
right? And so I was bad. Let me tell you, I wasn't nice. I remember in elementary, spelling bee, at Holmes Elementary
Yes.
in Miami. And if you won the spelling bee, you got promoted to the next grade. So I'm battling it.
Yeah.
I get all the way to the end. It's me and this other student, and I had a chance to win it, and I lost. Right? 3-letter word. A 3-letter word knocked me out.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, hour. O-U-R.
Oh,
I was using all kinds of variations, and I just couldn't get it. I had, I think, like 2 shots at it. Couldn't get it. I missed getting advanced to next grade because of a 3-letter word. But anyway, so I always been smart. But when you get to high school, you know, and plus I played football.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's a conflict between being a jock or being a nerd, right?
Right.
Right, and so, you know, there was that constant battle. I'm in advanced placement courses or college prep courses, but yet I'm on the football team.
You were both.
And I wrestle. And, you know, but you didn't want to, you know, you want to be with the cool people, and the cool people really were not the nerds. And what I know today is that the nerds is the one who end up being the cool people.
There you go. Right.
And the cool
Now.
people end up being in jail or dead or whatever, you know.
You're right.
And so, but yeah, that was a battle in high school. And then the other experience was in my junior high and high school years. I went back and forth between Florida and Illinois. I was in the suburbs of Chicago.
Wow.
And so, like in middle school, I was in Illinois. I was at an all-white school.
Yes,
There
that's
were
a
4
shock.
black people.
Culture shock.
And in Miami, I'm in an
All-black
all-black,
school.
all-black school.
Yeah.
'Cause my school was Haitian and black.
That's
That was it.
That's it.
And it was maybe 2 Spanish people and 1 white person.
right.
Right. And so the cultural differences, but then even seeing how the issues were still the same.
The
Still
same.
the same.
The
Still
same
the same.
thing. Still
Yes.
the same thing.
The same
Wow.
thing. Which one do you prefer? Miami or Illinois? Or better yet,
Man,
Florida,
listen,
Orlando?
you listen, you would never let me, I would never pick anything over Florida. Definitely a 305.
He said 305.
I know, I knew you.
305. Yes.
Why?
Yeah. Why?
Is it the mix
Because-
of people?
It's just a
Man,
melting
it is-
pot.
Let me tell you, there's so much beauty.
It
in
is.
When you're bringing different people from different cultures and
Walks of life.
different perspectives and different challenges and and even different flaws, right? And that's where you find the beauty.
It's true.
Right, and man, let me tell you, I don't know any place with more flaws than Miami. So
Yes, yes.
it's beautiful.
It's
to me.
beautiful. Yeah, we love it too. Every
Yeah.
summer we used to go.
Yeah.
Our parents had friends over there. We have family over there as well. And every summer we were going to Miami.
Faithfully.
Really?
Every summer we knew that's where we were going.
Yeah.
Loved
Yeah.
it. Great experience.
What part?
I don't even remember,
Look,
Muriel.
ask me now. We have no idea. We couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
We knew we were at
We
the beach
blocked out
every
a lot
day.
of
Okay.
things.
We were at the
unfortunately.
beach every day.
Yes. And so you went to college in Miami or no?
Well, yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
How was
I went
that
to Miami-Dade
experience?
College.
All right.
Okay.
Yep, it was the experience before the experience. so
Okay.
that's-
Okay.
But no, I attended Miami-Dade College, Wilson campus.
Okay.
Then I transferred to the North Dade campus.
Okay.
And then eventually I attended FIU College of Law.
Okay. That's right.
Listen to that.
right.
That's
Attorney.
awesome.
Yeah,
I saw that.
that's right.
Good for
Yeah.
you.
A reason why I think it's great that Desmond's getting the award, because they always say a prophet's never acknowledged in his own home, and Desmond has done so much for others, and he's always so deserving, and when it gets accolades. And then so we'll bring the family in to come on, so we can say congratulations. Yeah, and then got his award, and then Desmond could read. You can read the script, and then I hand it to you, so the kids come in. Cause you tell them come, yeah. So Desmond, give him the to read some questions. You can read that.
Wow. When did this come in?
Come in, Nick.
Ah,
What
I have
does
to
it
read
say?
this.
Show everybody what it is.
Oh. Bam. Clemency. State of Florida.
That's all. What it say, man?
It says State of Florida Office of Executive Clemency Certificate. Whereas the governor, with the approval of the requisite members of the Florida Cabinet, filed an executive order on 6/23/2021 with the Secretary of State in compliance with Article 4, Section 8A of the Florida Constitution, which grants to Desmond Meade, known as Desmond B. Meade, the restoration of civil rights, except the specific authority to own, possess, or use firearms for any and all felony convictions in the state of Florida, and or restoration of civil rights in the state of Florida for any and all felony convictions in any state other than Florida, or in any United States courts or military for which this person has not heretofore been granted clemency. Now, therefore, I, Michelle Whitworth, as coordinator of the Office of Executive Clemency, pursuant to said executive order and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the governor, with the approval of the requisite members of the Florida Cabinet, do hereby issue this certificate to Desmond Meade, and the same shall be evidence to all persons that this person is restored to all civil rights in this state.
Proud of you.
Yeah, I know he's
Sure
proud of
There's the
himself.
story before the story.
There's
Yeah.
a story before the story.
It's the story before the story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we want to hear the story before
Let's
the
hear the
story.
story.
Y'all want to hear the story?
We want to hear the story.
Well, you sure you want to hear the story?
We
I
want to
wanna
hear the story.
If you or your viewers really want to hear the
They
story,
really
wanna
wanna
hear
hear
it.
buy the book. Buy the book. Let my people
got-
vote. You
let
can
my
go
people
to it
vote.
on
Tell us
Amazon.
About,
But you
tell
gotta
us
get-
a little snippet.
Let me tell you, August 2005.
Okay.
I'm standing in front of railroad tracks in South Florida,
Okay.
waiting on a train to come so I can jump in front of it. You know, that day that I
What?
stood there, I was homeless. I was addicted to drugs, mainly crack cocaine.
Yeah.
I was
my gosh.
unemployed. I was recently released from prison. I didn't have, I didn't have a roof over my head. I didn't.
Nothing.
Only thing I owned were the clothes that was on my
On your
back.
back.
That was
Oh.
it.
You said this is it.
And I didn't see the light at the end
Yes,
of the
there
tunnel.
was. Yeah.
And so, what was the main thing that was going through my head was how much pain I was going to feel when that. I was wondering whether I was going to die instantly or did I have to go through moments of agonizing pain. Thinking about what it felt like
boy.
for the wheels of that train to actually crush or
over you.
sever my body, and how I was going to experience that.
my
And I'm going
goodness.
to tell you,
Wow.
I'm a wimp, right, when it comes to pain.
can't
I'm
take
scared of needles. I am terrified of needles. But even the thought of the pain that I would possibly have to endure was not enough to make me move. And I stood there and I waited and I waited and I waited. You know, and maybe a thought came through about my upbringing. And I know, like, my dad being a preacher, I was raised in a Christian family. And I was like, I know that my parents didn't raise me to be in that position.
Right.
But there I was, right? And I was a disappointment to my family, to the friend. I mean, it was,
You were at the
everything was
lowest
like,
of low.
I'm ready to
You
go.
just felt hopeless.
I was
Yeah.
ready to go, right? But God had other plans.
He
He
sure
stopped
did.
you.
And no, he didn't stop me. He stopped the train.
Oh,
Let me tell you. So the train track where I was standing in front of leads to the port of Miami, which is like the busiest port
Right.
on the east coast of the United States. And it also led to the produce section where, I mean,
know what?
so it's always like every few minutes or every 10, 15 minutes,
There's
a
a train
train is
goes
coming
by.
by.
yeah.
That day, no train came.
God said
Not
no.
when
It
I was
wasn't your
there.
time.
It
not your
wasn't.
time.
God had
No.
other
He
plans.
had other plans for you.
Absolutely.
And so I ended up crossing those tracks, and I walked a couple blocks further, checked myself into drug treatment,
Oh, yes.
did a
Awesome.
4-month
Thank
inpatient program. After I completed it, I moved back into a homeless shelter.
Okay.
And it was while I was living there that I decided to go to school.
Okay.
Right? And I'm gonna tell you, the initial reason why I decided to enroll in Miami-Dade was I was just tired of that vicious cycle of addiction, right? Where you're using drugs and alcohol, it takes you to a very bad place. You manage to stop
Right.
long enough to really get clean or
Right,
improve
right.
your life, and then something happens,
And
And
you
then
go
you go
back.
right
and you
back.
go right back
It's like a
there, or
repeat.
even worse.
Yeah.
And I was tired of that cycle, and I figured I got lucky the last time.
Right.
Maybe the next time
you
I
won't
won't
be
be
as
as lucky.
lucky.
So I wanted to do something to raise my self-esteem. And my mind went back to my mother about education.
That's right,
And I
that's
figured,
right.
man, maybe if I can just,
Get some
get education,
educated,
that
right.
would help, and I
Help.
won't use drugs.
Right.
That was my initial reason for going into enrolling in school.
School.
So I enrolled into a paralegal program, which was
Good.
a degree program. It was actually the #1 program in the country. And while there, I realized how law just was intertwined with every aspect of our lives.
It
I
is.
don't care what it is that
It
you
is.
do, the law is
Fortunately,
intertwined.
yes, everything.
And by that time, I had made a commitment to giving back. I made a commitment to service.
Okay.
And I figured that if I'm going to be the best advocate, then I need to have the most thorough understanding
Yep.
of the law that I can possibly
Right.
have.
So let me
And
learn
the-
it.
And so I dove into it, did extremely well, graduated at the top of my class. My professors encouraged me to continue my education.
Okay.
So I pursued a bachelor's degree in public safety management
Okay.
with a concentration. You ready for this?
Uh-huh.
Y'all said that together too. In criminal justice. And I'm gonna
So
tell
you
you,
had it
I
all.
figured,
Yes.
Wow.
since I had a lot of experience getting arrested and appearing before
Let
judges,
you be on the other side.
that
other
it
end.
was going to help me out in the classroom, right? I'm bringing some practical experience,
That's right.
to the classroom, and actually it worked out. I ended up graduating with highest honors,
Wow.
and eventually I got accepted into a law school, and I chose to attend, FIU College of Law because I figured, well, listen, when I was homeless, I was homeless in the streets of Little Haiti.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
I know where you're
That's
going.
what I was right there, and so I figured that what better place to get a law degree
Yeah.
than in the same community where I was at my lowest.
That's right.
Right. And so
Wow.
I enrolled or accepted the invitation FIU, and in May of 2014, I graduated with my Juris Doctorate.
Congratulations.
Wow.
How did
Bravo.
you feel? Tell me how that felt when you walking that stage.
I'm glad you asked that
How did you
question.
feel?
Because that was the third time I crossed the stage. I crossed it with my associates. I crossed it with my bachelor's and another associate, and I crossed it with my Juris Doctorate. The first time first 2 times, I held up the line because my mother had passed.
Oh,
So
sorry
I
about that.
needed to give her enough time
That's right.
to be,
Yes.
basking in that
Right,
glory.
right,
Like,
right.
that's my son down
Yes.
there or
Aw.
whatever. So I held up the line
I
a
can
little
see you
bit.
now.
I need mom to see me.
That's right.
But the second and third, so the first and second time I held up the line. The second and third time, it was I held up the line the second time, but the second and third time, let me tell you the feeling. It was not about me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I was pausing and I was prancing because I knew that I was an example for somebody out
You
there.
got that right.
Absolutely.
That this homeless person, this crackhead.
Look at you.
That, let me tell you something. I had about 4 honor souls. I had about 3
Wow.
medallions, and I had 11 honor cords.
You did it.
I was
You
great.
did
I
it.
was
Yes.
Yeah.
like how these rappers wear all that.
Yeah, you-
But mine was the education.
That's right.
I was.
That's right.
Listen,
You had
I
all
was-
the colors.
Listen, there was nobody in that institution that would have been more decorated than me.
Oh my gosh,
And
your
I was
mom is
decorated.
proud. Your
And
mama
so
is proud.
I'm thinking, and one of my classmates actually told me after the graduation that she had a boyfriend. Her name is, well, I ain't gonna tell her last name.
Don't
but
tell her
no,
name.
but I have she's from Haiti as well.
Okay.
And her boyfriend was out there in the streets,
Okay.
but he came to a graduation with her,
Okay.
right? And he told her that when he seen me, because she been talking to him about me, when he seen me cross that stage, he made a commitment right then and there to get about those streets
Yeah.
Isn't that
and to
something?
enroll in
You changed his
school.
life.
Yeah.
Inspired
I'm
him.
sure
And so
there's
that's
more.
what was the biggest thing for me when I
Right.
was walking across the stage.
Yes.
Just thinking about, man, how many people lives might be changed
Yes.
by seeing me basking in this glory and
Right.
draped with all this
'Cause they
stuff.
knew where you
knowing that
were.
they could do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They knew.
I like
They
that.
knew the
Yeah.
things that you had gone through.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yes. That's
Man, you should be proud. I'd sleep
Yeah.
with that. I probably still have those
I
cords on my
did.
neck.
Listen, I still got
That's
it.
right.
So, yep.
Proud.
Yep. But it was, and I like I said, I think the most important thing, because even with the accomplishments that I have even today,
Yes.
I think what makes me most happy is the fact that it's an opportunity to let people out there that may be looking at me, may be listening to me,
Yes.
know that even though they may be facing obstacles now,
that's right.
or even though they may have made some mistakes in the past, or probably going to make some mistakes in the future,
Future.
You can
it
get
is
past it.
not the end of the world.
That's right. You can get through it.
That you could, as a matter of fact, those things you could actually turn those things into something positive, like Lauryn Hill says, right?
Yes.
And those things can actually be the very same things that empower you.
Yes. And here you are.
Yes.
Here
I'm
you
a
are.
living testimony.
You
Time
are
magazine.
Yes.
Say it.
Recognized Time
He said, say
magazine
it.
Say it now.
most influential people in the world
Yes.
in
Yep.
2019.
But wait, what? No, but it's a number there somewhere. Isn't there a number there?
You were recognized by Time magazine as one of the most influential people
Well,
in the
there's
world.
no,
another-
we're gonna back
You're
that
gonna,
up.
you're gonna get it right.
One of the 100 most
Oh, I don't
influential.
have
So it's
the 100.
limited
Oh,
to the
get it
top
right.
100.
Get it right.
See, because one
Get
of
it
the
right.
like there are billions of people in the world. So you said I'm part of a million people.
We gotta get
that's
this right.
influential?
Get it right.
No.
You got to be right.
100.
100.
Yes.
Yes.
The top 100
What?
most influential in the world. I remember when I found that out. My wife was in the car. I was like, "Honey, did they say the country?"
Right.
She was like, "Nah, baby, they said the world." And my only response to her was, "There are more than 100 countries in the world."
Right.
Right, but
Right.
one of the 100
100.
most influential people in the entire world.
World.
What did you feel like?
What?
You just wanted to just keep
He said,
jumping.
"I'm the
You wanted
man."
to just-
But-
yeah.
He said, I'm the man.
Once again, that part didn't hit me as far as the turtle, but because when I went to the gala,
Mm-hmm.
was at the gala, so we're chilling with The Rock, we're chilling with,
OMG.
I mean, they had so many
All
folks
kind,
there,
yes.
yeah. I mean, they had folks out
Some
there.
folks.
And, suited up. By the way, my wife was the most elegant woman there.
There you go.
And let me tell you something. I'm not saying
Look,
it,
get it right.
whatever, but her fashion designer was a young Haitian
Okay.
cat out of
Oh, wow.
Broward County.
Isn't that
So we was highlighting.
That's
Ooh,
right.
I want to see
blue.
that dress.
Let me tell you something. Standing next to Taylor Swift, and people didn't even they was bowing down.
To
Matter
her.
of fact, when we walked in,
Yes.
the paparazzi thought she was like the star.
She was the one.
Security
forgot
about
came
you out
trying
the
to
way.
push me out the way. I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, They were trying to get me out the way,
Man.
and it
She
was
was a
like the
showstopper.
camera's like a beehive.
I want to see that.
It was like her eyes
Yes.
got wide,
Yes.
and then she went right into mode. That's what she
did
was
she
made
say,
for.
though?
Lights,
Did
She
camera,
was built
action.
for this.
Yes.
She understood the assignment.
I want to see that picture.
Yeah, while we were there, I remember having a discussion with some people from Time Magazine, and I told them that they dropped the ball because that issue they had The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, on the cover. I was like, y'all
It
messed
should have been
up.
you.
Y'all should have had me.
That's right.
Right, but it wasn't about. I was like, listen, people needed when they see that,
Right.
they needed to know that you don't have to be a movie star.
No.
You
Correct.
don't have to be a billionaire.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be a politician
all the time.
to be or to have an impact
Right.
in your community,
Absolutely.
in your country, or even the world.
Right.
Yes.
What did
You
they
don't
say?
need- They were like, you got a
Yeah.
point there.
Yeah.
You got a point there. And people
Absolutely.
need to know.
They should've put
Because
on the
it's
front
like,
of the month.
man,
Regular
if this
people.
guy, I mean,
He
listen,
can
let me
be
tell
on
you,
the
when
cover.
when I was at the railroad tracks waiting on the train, if somebody would have came to me and said, Desmond, don't jump in front of a train because
Right.
in a few years
Right.
you're going to meet President Obama not once but twice,
Twice.
and you're going to be sitting on boards with commissioners and governors, and you're going to lead the organization
believe
to change the voting rights landscape, and you're
yes.
going to be time 100. And
Come on.
If somebody would have told
Tell-
me that, you know what I would ask them? Where they
would
get
you
that
say?
good dope they smoking?
He
I
would have never believed it.
I would
Wouldn't
have
have
probably
believed
put
it.
them in the headlock. Now, you're
Yeah.
going to take me to that place where
That's
you're
right.
getting them good drugs.
Yes.
Right? Because there's no way
No
that
way.
you could even have me even think
Come
that a
on.
homeless
Come on.
crackhead with a record a mile long
Right.
in just a matter of a few years
Top 100.
would be able to do that. That was impossible.
Yeah.
But
That's-
today I can tell you
My
that man, I
goodness.
used to tell people to take the word impossible out of your vocabulary
Impossible.
because when God is involved, all things are possible.
That's right.
Now I don't even tell them to take it out. I tell them to repurpose it. Impossible
okay.
mean I'm possible.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
All right?
You
and
preaching
so
today,
I'm
PK.
just-
You preaching today.
well, I'm gonna pass that basket in a minute. They're like collecting tithes and offerings from me. But no, seriously, I think that and that's what I told them.
Yeah.
I said it was just so important.
Wow.
Because I think what we need more than anything, right, are real stories of real people.
There we go.
That inspire real people to know that, just like they, even in the church song, right, just ordinary people. That's who God used.
That's right.
So even when you ask me about my childhood,
Right.
I'm tempted to say, I'm just an ordinary
Right,
guy,
right.
that have just been prepared to do extraordinary
Things.
things during in extraordinary moments.
At extraordinary. You're right.
And that my story
goodness.
and those trials and those tribulations had prepared me to step into those moments when the time was right.
Right.
And that's why I know I'm here today. That's why I am who I am right now. And folks need to know
They need
that
to
the
know.
things that might cause you sorrow
Yes,
and pain
they
today
Oh, my
can give
goodness.
you glory tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Here you go.
Yep.
And this is why we do this show.
Yep.
I'm serious. Like you said, I'm just an ordinary person doing extraordinary
That's it.
things. And that's what you're doing. And this is why we do the show. So people can, you're an example.
Prime example.
You are an example of, your history, everything you've
Black
been through. And now look at
excellence.
you.
Black
That's right.
excellence.
Definitely.
Hats off to
Definitely.
you, King. Yes.
Oh,
Awesome.
my gosh.
And you have an amazing story. I want you to tell us, how did you become the president of the Florida Rights Restoration
Yes,
Coalition?
let's talk about
Well,
this.
when I was in, all right, let me see if I give you the short version, right? So, well,
Just
Give
go,
us,
just
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
the version.
We got time.
All right.
Go ahead.
So when I crossed the tracks, well, let me just
Okay.
go ahead and give this quick thing here. It's in my book.
It's in your book.
Well,
okay.
don't
in my
worry. We're
book.
going to
Y'all
read
gotta
it.
get his book. Y'all
And
gotta
the
get his
viewers
book.
will go get the book.
in my
Go
book.
get the book.
But there was a point where right after I crossed the tracks, I had this moment where I actually stopped and imagined what would have happened if that train would have came, right? And how many people would have come to my funeral. The answer was 0. That was a very empty
Oh,
feeling.
my goodness.
Even in the best case scenario, with my name in the front of the newspaper on the top of the phone,
Right.
I only could come up with 4 people that would have came to my funeral, and maybe two
Right.
would have shed a tear.
Oh, my.
And it really made me question my existence on this planet. After all the relationships and living all the different places,
Right.
only 4 people would care if you died. And I
Something's wrong
took
with
the
that.
question, Desmond, have your life been that insignificant? And when I took that into drug treatment with me, just so happened Rosa Parks passed away pretty soon after.
Yes.
And I was able to see the outpouring of love as her body laid and stayed in the rotunda of the Capitol. And I remember something just struck my spirit, and I jumped up screaming at the TV, like, that's it, that's it. That's what I want. And I started planning my funeral that day.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you, it's crazy because the image that I had created was similar to what we seen at the memorial service for Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi. I had my funeral at Joe Robbie Stadium where the Dolphins played.
my goodness.
I had chairs on the field, not
wow.
an empty seat in the house, not a dry eye, right? I mean, I had it all put together, but I ran into one big problem.
What's the big problem?
How you gonna get that many people to come to your funeral? What type of person
Are you?
could command that type
There
of
you go.
audience?
Right.
And I only landed with a athlete or a movie star. And you know, I played ball before, but my knees were. I didn't think my knees were all that. You know, even though I tell folks the Dolphins probably still could have used me because back in those days they needed all the help they could get.
No.
But you know, I was like, okay, I can't do sports. So let me. Next thing was movie star. But let me tell you, when you think about movie star, the first person that comes to my mind is Denzel
I
Washington.
knew you were gonna say it.
That's
Right now, my wife tell me I'm a handsome guy.
Right.
I know I'm not bad looking, but I didn't think I was Denzel Washington type of handsome.
Right.
Like Denzel is in a class by itself. You see how y'all smiling when I say Denzel? It ain't no other male actor I could have mentioned that make y'all smile
Right.
like that.
It's true.
That's the
Everybody loves
Denzel
Denzel.
Washington
Yes.
effect. And so when I thought about Denzel, I got disappointed because I was like, I can't be Denzel.
Yeah.
I tell people today, thank God I ain't think of Forrest Whitaker. Because I know I had him beat.
Tell him to stop, Muriel.
I
Tell him to
got,
stop.
I got Forrest Whitaker beat. I know I'm better looking than him. And I could probably beat out Wesley Snipes as long as I don't have to take my shirt off. Because Wesley had the abs.
You know what?
Yeah, he did have the abs. All I got is a little
can't.
gut. But
Nobody could be you though.
I didn't think of them. All I thought about was Denzel. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, I can't even do that. But then that was my depression was short-lived because I immediately went back to Rosa Parks.
Okay.
And think about that. She committed an act.
Yes.
Right? That because of that act, it contributed to impact or a chain
Yes.
reaction of
Yeah.
things.
The
of which-
world knew her.
and we feel it even to today.
Absolutely.
We benefit
Right.
from her act
Right.
today.
Right.
And so I thought that maybe if I could take the pain and the suffering and that low self-esteem that led me to the railroad tracks and package it in such a way that it would I could prevent others
Right.
from going to those railroad tracks.
Right.
Right. And,
Right.
and they can help others and so on and so on. Pretty soon, you know, when I die, there are going to be people that's going to come and say, man, if it wasn't for Desmond,
Right.
my life would not be as good.
That's
Right?
right. That's right.
And so, like Joe Robbie Stadium hold a few thousand people. I was like, man, I got a lot of work to do, but I ain't know what to do.
Right.
But while I was still in treatment, I had an interaction with a young man who basically told me that I caused him to experience a paradigm shift. Caused him to have a
really?
different outlook
Okay.
in life. Caused him to have hope.
Yeah.
This is in the
And
rehab.
while I was there, I was getting ready to leave. And when he told me this, something erupted inside of me that I had never, ever in my life experienced.
Okay.
I could tell you that I was experiencing a joy that I didn't even know exists. I was experiencing a joy that I was chasing all of my life.
Right. Right.
Right? And basically, what I was experiencing was this harmonization of just discovering what God's purpose was for me.
Isn't that something?
And it was so simple.
Aw.
But yet powerful. And it was to give back. When you know, you look outside at the trees and the grass and all of this, and
Right.
you see, think about nature. Everything in nature takes a little,
Yes. Gives a little.
right?
It does.
Gives back.
Yes.
And I thought about how we as a society have gotten to a point where, oh, gimme.
Exactly.
You know,
Gotta
and
give
all
back.
God want me to do is like, no matter what my title is, no matter how much or how little money I have, right? No matter how good I look,
Yeah.
right? That at the end of the day, there's always someone who's worse off than me.
That's the truth.
Absolutely.
There's
We see that
always
all the time.
someone who
Every
can
day.
benefit
Right.
from my experience.
Right.
Yes.
And so I knew right then and there that I was going to take my story, right, my experiences,
Yes.
my strength, and my hope, and I would use it in such a way to inspire others, or use it in such a way to advocate for others.
Yep.
And that's what got me started
And here you
on the
are.
roads
Love
of
it.
advocacy,
Yes.
which led me to the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition,
Here you
of
are.
which I'm the executive director.
Isn't that something? Whew. Yeah.
God bless you. Congratulations. You're giving back.
Yes.
You gave back. You're
Yes.
giving back.
And here we are. We're in the season of giving, right?
Absolutely.
Christmas,
Yes,
That's
it's
right
Christmas.
around the corner,
That's
There you go.
right? And it's about giving. It
Yes.
really is. And you'd be amazed, right? You know, I share this because, matter of fact, like I say, Christmas,
Yes.
right around the corner.
Yes.
I think people need to hear that,
Yes.
Yes, they do.
right? Because I remember going to a funeral
Mm-hmm.
of a good friend of mine whose son was murdered in Tallahassee.
Okay.
And it was a Jewish funeral. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember the rabbi was telling the story of the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
How these two bodies of water were so different,
Right.
right? One was vibrant and full of life while the other one was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that these two bodies of water got their nutrients from the same source.
The same
So his
choice.
question was, how could it be that these two bodies of water, which got their nutrients from the same source,
Right.
be so drastically different?
Right.
The answer was so simple. You see, the Sea of Galilee had what you call tributaries.
Okay.
So whatever blessings or nutrients it received from up high,
Yes.
it was able to pass on to other bodies of water, which made it act as if it was a filtration
Right,
system
right.
Okay.
to keep the water clean and vibrant, right? While the Dead Sea was self-enclosed.
That's right.
So everything it got, it held on to
Right.
until it oversaturated itself and killed itself from within.
Yeah.
And that's why
Just
I
like
thought like
humans.
that's so indicative of life.
Right.
You can see people that seem to have it all.
Exactly.
But on the inside, they're dead.
dying.
They're void of love and joy.
That's the
and
truth.
They're not. They're. You hate to be around them.
You
Right.
are so
But
right.
then you find somebody that got to catch the bus to work,
Thank you.
They're
wearing
just as happy.
bobos or whatever,
Just
and
as
you
happy.
just love being around them.
Right.
Yeah.
They're a joy to be with.
Yes.
And so that that is always like really just stuck
Yeah.
with me.
Stuck with you.
And so now we're here. Christmas is knocking on our doors,
Yes.
right? The message is that the joy and the life rejuvenation, right,
Yes, no.
is about us giving, not about what we gonna
can
get for
receive.
Christmas.
Absolutely.
No, you
Not
gotta
about
give.
what we gonna get.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's about what we give, because
Right.
when we give, it opens us up to receive even more.
Exactly. Why
And
can't everyone
that's
think
been
this
my
way?
life.
I want everyone to think this way.
Especially now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have
come
to.
on.
Come
you
on.
know, you do that last minute shopping for someone else,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
With no expectations of
In
receiving
return.
anything.
Yes.
Just give.
Just
Absolutely.
give. It
Just
just
give.
yes.
And watch how nature takes its course.
Mm-hmm.
Telling you.
That's how we grew up as well. We love to give back. We love to help people. It makes me feel good. And I want to ask you this because I know for myself, I suffer with depression. And for yourself, do you feel that this is why you want to keep giving back? Is because it makes you feel good?
Man, yeah. Listen, matter of fact, somebody said one time, matter of fact, I might have been locked up when somebody told me this. It's nice being nice.
Uh-huh.
You know, like I told you, that feeling that I experienced,
It's like
it's
no
almost
other.
like my new addiction.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, there is no better joy than knowing that you were of service to someone
others.
else,
There isn't.
right? We could lose ourselves in there.
Mm-hmm.
And all my life, listen, I'm telling you, I remember being on my knees praying, right? And the two things I prayed for, right? The first thing was all of the people that I felt was hating on me
Right.
or so-called enemies, I would pray that God would let them experience his love like I've experienced his love, right?
What a
I
prayer.
prayed for love
That
for
is
them.
nice, yeah.
The other thing I prayed for was that God gave me the strength, stamina, wisdom, perseverance to be able to do his work. I didn't know what it was,
Right.
but whatever it was, I just give me
Right.
the energy and everything and the wisdom
be able to do it.
to just
Right.
do your work. And what I realized is that when you take care of God's business, he take care of yours,
He sure
That's
does.
and you do a much better job,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
I don't, and so I just focus
Isn't
right
that
there.
something?
I just lock that in. All right, and so I dive into that.
Right, right.
And so I'm praying, and I want to do his work, and I tell people, listen, when I was on my knees, I was praying for you. Right? I wasn't praying. I didn't pray for no house.
Right.
I didn't pray for a job.
Right.
I didn't pray for a family, a wife, and none of that.
Just praying for
And
you.
let me tell you, God blessed me with the best
Double.
wife in the world.
Thank God.
Right?
Waiting on you.
Quadruple.
Yes.
Right? I didn't
Better
pray
than
for
you
any of
ever
that.
thought.
I just
Yes.
wanted to do His work. And the thing is in focusing on it, I think it's so important that when you dive into that and lose yourself into waking up, thinking about how could I put a smile on somebody's
That's his face.
What can I do to make my community, my
go.
state,
Yeah.
my country a better place for everybody?
Right.
Right? So I'm praying for you and didn't even know you then.
Right.
You didn't even know me.
Right.
But I was praying, believe it or not.
Yes.
Trust me when I tell you this. I was praying for you. Yeah. I was praying for PJ too.
Thank you.
Believe it or not.
That's right.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't
I
even
was
know.
praying for him.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about peanut butter and jelly, y'all. I'm
Yeah.
talking about PJ. But I was. And so that's where I find my solace. You know, the pressure piece, listen, we all at some point go through it, whether we want to admit it or not. And I could just lean back on that, knowing that, man, I have a purpose. My life has a
Absolutely.
purpose. And
do.
I have impacted somebody.
Yeah.
And so even though I might be going through a rough moment now,
Yes.
man, I'm okay because I made it better for somebody else.
That's right. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
You know, and you recognize that. You recognize and realize that. There's a lot of people that we just fall victim. We just don't even think about that. But when you can help someone by sharing your story, by sharing your testimony,
Yeah.
Just a little piece of yourself.
that's priceless.
It is.
That's
It is.
priceless.
Yeah.
And
That's why you
that,
gotta get the book. Y'all gotta get the book.
Absolutely.
have to get the
listen,
book.
I'm serious.
we will get the
because
book.
We will.
There's somebody that's watching,
Yes,
Yes.
they need it.
right?
Yes.
They might not even be watching, they be listening because they
Listening.
busy
Yes.
carving that turkey up or whatever. I don't know.
They need
getting their food ready for
Right.
Christmas.
They need it. I hope they're
But
listening to this.
they, even if they're listening,
Right.
it's something that they heard that's going to touch them.
Correct.
It's going to have an impact in their lives.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so, if nothing else, I want everything that's attached to me to be able to
spread it.
Yeah,
Yes.
gotta
You wanna spread it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Of
you want to
course.
help someone.
of course.
You want to help.
Yep,
That's a good Christmas gift, don't you think?
that's right. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas. Yes. That is
You need to
beautiful.
get this book.
That matter of fact, that would be a good,
Good
Christmas
Christmas gift.
present. Put
Exactly.
in somebody's stocking.
That's
I'm
right.
telling
Get
you.
it. I want to talk about, we're talking about, rights restoration, but what about the movie, Unbreaking America, Justice for Sale, Let My People Vote.
Oh. That sounds like a good a blockbuster, don't it?
Put it on Netflix.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
Tell us more. Tell the
mean-
viewers. Talk
She
to
said you're
them.
gonna have
Talk
go
to
see
them.
that.
It was like so. I mean, it really part of that document. It really focused on the work that we were doing here in Florida. Part of it started like in 2016.
Okay.
I'm out there. We're already collecting petitions for the place member for on the ballot. Didn't make the ballot yet.
Okay.
But 2016 election was a huge election.
Yes.
We out there. A matter of fact, in this case particular, I went to Hillsborough County, which is Tampa, to help get some people out to vote. And so I'm going around the community, knocking on doors, encouraging people to go vote
right.
and everything. And I ran across this elderly man, wasn't in the best of health.
Okay.
Couldn't even walk he had to drive. And I remember walking in front of his car and getting him a nice parking space. He goes in to go vote. Takes about an hour. He comes out with this look on his face. He can't vote. I do a little research because I have a laptop there. Come to find out that 8 years prior, he was convicted of driving with a suspended license.
Oh my gosh.
Now, the thing about it was that number one, the voting where people were voting was directly across the street from a graveyard.
Okay.
And during that time, I remember telling folks that voting is a difference between life and death,
Yes.
right? And it was so symbolic to have the voting location right
Right
across
there.
from the
Yes.
graveyard. And when when we found out that he couldn't vote because he had driving with a suspended license, and I looked at him, he just reminded me of my dad, and I broke down,
Aw.
and it really brought me to tears. I mean, it really broke my heart, and in my head, I'm thinking this guy is going to die before being able to
To
vote.
vote.
And so it was part of filming captured that.
Okay.
And it just really strengthened my resolve. But like, man, no, we've got to get amendment for
Yeah,
the ballot.
gotta do it.
So this documentary really follows some of that, and just the work that we're doing out in the community,
Amazing.
doing the impossible.
Yes.
That's
Because
right.
all of the experts thought it was impossible
Mm-hmm.
to pass that type of
You did it.
amendment, but we did.
Amendment for it.
Congratulations on that.
we rocked the
Yes.
grassroots like never before.
Yes.
And, to be honest with you, at the end of the day, that was the first time you had a major campaign that was actually led
Yes.
and directed by a black man.
I was
Yes,
just gonna
yes.
say by a black man.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll be honest. And it was huge. It was like,
Congratulations. Thank you
Yes.
for making that happen.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is just amazing. But you know what? We talked about every little thing. We talked about your community work, everything that you're doing, movies,
Uh-oh,
books.
here it comes. Go ahead.
No, it's simple. What is it that you do on your free time? You're so busy. What are you doing?
So let me tell you something, right? So I remember years back listening, looking at some interviews with some professional athletes, right? And like you would hear it every now and then. Maybe not with this younger generation, but you would with the older generation back in the days, what you hear from athletes. But there's no greater feeling than getting paid to do something that you love
love to do.
and you would do for free.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right. This is my life. I
Yes.
mean, I've learned. I mean, I know that there have to be work-life balance,
Balance.
and it is right. And that's very important.
Very.
Very.
So I'm gonna get on the lake. We're in
Okay.
Orlando.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my little Santa hat on.
All right.
On my jet ski or something, and just go around to my ho ho ho. That's the only time I get away with saying that word.
Only during the Christmas.
Yeah, only during Christmas.
And some
But-
places you may go, they may look at you like, what did you say?
But nah, this is my listen. This is
This is it.
part of me.
This is
Yeah.
what you were supposed to do.
I remember my first year law because whenever you enter law school, they tell you that first year you better not do. You can't
Nothing.
have no job and nothing. Concentrate on that first year. And I remember telling them, y'all don't want to see me, because I was taking meetings in treatment centers.
Wow.
I was managing a recovery house. And I was engaged in my advocacy. And I told my dean, I was like, listen, this is part of my life now. This
Yeah.
is asking me to not do that is like
Right.
asking me not to breathe.
Yes.
And trust me, y'all don't want to see me if I breathe.
Not breathe.
Well, I get to get on that crack again. Well, look
That's
here,
not
all
gonna
y'all
happen.
cars gonna get broken into.
That won't
All this
happen.
your laptop's gonna be missing,
Right.
all that stuff. So now you don't
That won't
want
happen.
that. And so what it is I try to get engaged in that work-life balance, but I gotta admit that my mind,
Yeah, I
at
get
some point or another, is always thinking about
I know.
how to make this community or this state a better place.
Thank you.
We
thank you.
so much. Yes.
And I believe that the reason why is because you got a second chance.
Yes. Yes.
You got a second chance.
Mm.
That
You
train
got a
did
whole
not
bunch.
come that day.
You said a whole bunch.
Look, that train did not
Yeah.
come that day,
Mm.
and because
That
of
was the
that,
reason, yeah.
look at everything
the
that you've
reason.
done.
Yep.
My God.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. We're gonna have a candid minute with you.
Uh-oh.
Hold the chair.
Yeah, let me just
What?
brace myself.
I know, right? What type of response is easy? What type of response have you heard from the returning citizens?
Oh, Jesus. It's been, I was not prepared, even though as much as I've been in this work and as much as I knew of the impact of passing Amendment 4, I'm going to tell you, I was woefully unprepared for just the level of intensity of which, I mean, when you ask me that, my mind go back
Yeah.
to this lady named Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
And Barbara lived in southeast Florida,
Okay.
like around the Indian River County area.
Okay.
And I remember some of my organizers in the community, and they engaged her. and we was able to, she qualified now for Women Before.
Good.
And so they're in her home. She's filling out the voter registration form.
Mm-hmm.
She starts crying. And so the organizer said, "Why are you crying?" And she was like, "Well, for 24 years, I've been trying to register to vote." Right, but I thought I would never have
Be
that
able
opportunity because of my drug addiction
Yes,
and because
right.
of my criminal history. But yet here I am filling out this application. It was
That's
such
right,
a moment for her.
Mm-hmm.
But then it gets deeper
Mm.
because when she signed her name, she looked up and she asked
Mm-hmm.
the organizer to pray that God would allow her to live long enough to be able to vote,
Vote
because
again?
prior to us coming to her home, the doctor gave her 6 months to live.
Oh my
Oh, no.
goodness.
Oh no.
And when my organizer told me that just like
Yeah,
just
crushed
hit me
you.
here.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm messing the mic up doing all that stuff.
It's okay.
But you have a person that was given 6 months to live. Her dying wish was not to visit an exotic
right,
location or meet a celebrity.
Yes.
It was just to be able
To vote again.
to vote
That's
again,
it.
to get to feel what it felt like
Right.
to
Poor
be a
thing.
part of our
Right.
democracy.
Mm.
And that was like really, it really touched my heart. And
Right.
I'm telling everybody about Barbara and I remember I was on a call and the reporter said, "Hey, you think Barbara would be willing to share a story?"
Yes.
So let me check. And I called,
Mm-hmm.
find out a few days after she passed away.
Oh man.
And when they told me that just
So yeah.
Yeah.
Of
tore
course.
my heart.
Of course.
And let me tell you, trust me, I am holding myself together real well on it right now.
Right, right.
Right?
Wow.
But just broke me down to tears
You can understand.
because
Wow.
all she wanted to do
Yes.
was be a part.
Yes. Yeah.
And she didn't get that opportunity. So you asked me about the response.
Right. Oh man.
I think about people like Barbara
Yes.
who, we had a lady who, she couldn't vote, but every time there was an election, she would
She was
go
there.
to the supervisor elections office just to stand there and watch
Watch other people vote.
Last November on Facebook, this young man got in the car and was crying, and he was like, "I have to be real with y'all. All these years I've been seeing y'all vote, I've actually been jealous." And that was his first time, and he was just in tears about what it means to him. So when you talk about that reaction, that's what I think about.
Yeah.
That, man, there's so many people
Yes.
out there,
Yes.
in this state, man, that's all they want.
They
That's
just
all
want
they
to
want.
vote.
Yeah.
They want to make a
I
I
difference.
want to be so.
wanna be
let me
part.
tell you, because when I went to vote, and I was in this in the voting booth. It was a surreal experience, understanding that, man, even walking up, I'm on sacred ground because of the blood that was shed,
Right.
Yes.
the sacrifices that was made. And as I was voting, I felt myself actually going to this other space, right? That what I was doing transcended the partisan politics. It even transcended
goodness.
implicit racial bias. And what it did, it took us to a place. What I was doing took me to a place, right, that said something simple and pure and powerful. It said, "I am." See, I wasn't voting as a black man. I wasn't voting as a Democrat or a Republican, right? What I was doing was actually validating my existence and humanity and
Yes.
my
My
place
goodness.
in a society.
Right.
Yes.
that there's value in that I
is.
have a voice, right?
Yes.
And I can influence,
Others.
yeah, and so it went beyond. So I got a glimpse, and then I'm thinking through this stuff. Deep down inside, we all want to be loved.
Yes.
We all want
wanna
to
be
feel like
accepted.
we're a part
Part
of
of
something,
something.
Yes.
right? Something bigger than
Absolutely.
us, right?
That's right.
And so when you talk about voting, that act of voting is that I am
is.
part of
I am part of
something
something big.
bigger,
Right.
right? When you're told that, oh no, you can't vote,
Right.
They say you're not a part of us. When you an ex-felon and you
Yeah.
this or whatever, oh, you're not part of us, right? That is painful.
Yes,
is
it
painful.
is.
And sometimes maybe we suppress that with an indifference, right, towards it,
Yeah.
right? You know, I remember, you know, fellas, we hanging out. One of my homeboys tried to holler at a female, right? She turned him down. Oh, she ain't all that, you know, she ugly. Well, why you tried to holler at
To
the first
begin
place,
with.
right?
Right.
So that's just a
Same.
coping
Right.
mechanism, right?
Right.
And so many of our people in so many different ways have been rejected,
Rejected,
right?
right?
Even in some of the things that we're saying that no, you're not good enough to live here.
Right.
You're not good enough to ride down the street
Right.
unmolested
Yes.
without
Right.
without somebody having to eye you down or stop you or pull you or you know
So much
or you can't vote or you can't do this, you can't do, and so you're not a part of the great American dream,
Right.
right?
That's hurtful.
And so yeah,
That's hurtful.
that is. And so this voting thing at least gives us something.
Yes. Be
Be
part
a
of something.
this. Yeah,
Right. I love
Wow.
that. I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
Beautiful. I love it. We can't say
We
thank
need
you
to.
enough.
You know what? We need to have you back here.
Woo!
After the holidays.
We
Yes.
need to have you back. So powerful.
Yes.
So powerful, and you should be so proud,
Proud of yourself.
of
Mhm.
yourself.
Yes.
And you know your mama is smiling down.
Yes,
Yes,
she
she
is.
is.
Yes,
She is proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Shoot,
she
we're
is.
proud of you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Awesome
Yes.
work. Yes.
If someone wants to contact you, where would you direct them to contact you?
Well,
How
listen,
can
I'm on Twitter
Okay.
at Desmond Meade. Our website for the organization is Florida Rights Restoration. Oh, FloridaRRC.com. FloridaRRC.com. And then they can always look us up on Facebook.
There you go.
Yeah, they can always do that.
Powerful.
Yes.
You're one powerful man.
So we started with a song. We gonna end with it.
We
We
gonna
Yeah,
wish
let's
you a
end with
Merry
a song.
Christmas.
Why not?
We
wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you. We need to do a single.
Happy holidays to
Thank
you.
you so much
We
for
will be
having
seeing
me.
you
I
back.
really had fun.
May God
Thank you all.
continue to bless
Happy
you
holidays
and your
to you.
family, okay?
Yep. Cool.
All right.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
All right.
We thank you for joining us this evening. Please join us next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another guest right here from our community. We all deserve second chances. Desmond says when you do nothing, you feel overwhelmed and powerless. But when you get involved, you feel a sense of hope and accomplishment that comes from knowing you are working to make things better. We applaud Mr. Meade for his relentless efforts for returning citizens. We are real sisters, sharing real stories within our community. We thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It, the Candid Conversation Show.
Let's go. Let's go.
Come on, let's have a candid conversation.